Hello everyone and welcome back to Kroof Gaming. It's been a while since we've done a PvP video, so I thought I'd bring that to you right now. And this build is, I can't stress this enough, this build is not meta. This build is more of a fun, creative thing that I kind of just quickly conjured up and I thought would be quite fun to play, and it was fairly effective. It wasn't super weak, but it did have its flaws, and hopefully we can talk about it and maybe offer up some suggestions as to improve this build. But this build is more oriented around vampiric themes and stuff. So it is more of a life transfer type build, and it's been a lot of fun. And I have not run a build like this in a while, or I've not ran a build like this in a while. So this was a lot of fun to do. And it was a lot of fun to practice with, but I'm definitely getting back into the swing of things with PvP because I have taken a little bit of a break, but I'm getting back in there. So more PvP videos, yay! Okay, so we're gonna start up with our weapons, our sigils, then our runes, and then finally our amulet, and then we'll go into the specializations, and then our utility skills, and hopefully bring everything together for the gameplay side of this video. So let's move into this briskly and quickly. So the weapons we're taking is dagger, warhorn, and then staff. For this, you're going to primarily want to be in staff most of the time, because I like to stay at range. But if you end up in a situation where you have to get close, switch to dagger, warhorn. Enough said. For the sigils, we're doing double. So sigil of blood and then sigil of air. Same thing on the staff. For the health steal, 50% chance on critical hit, and then sigil of air for that extra lightning strike, extra damage. Nice. And then our rune is rune of vampirism, very appropriate for this build. So yeah, when it has a lot of things to do with power, and then stealing life from your foes to heal you. So it plays a bit with survival and a little bit with added damage, which is always nice. And next, we're moving into the amulet. And the amulet I decided to take was the Paladin's amulet. And you might be wondering, why take the Paladin's amulet? Well, one, I really like it for the power precision, but the vitality and the toughness are really, really fun, especially if you want to just like kind of ease into PvP. It gives you that little bit of extra defense. But the toughness I will mention in a little bit and would be very important to one trait that I will go over very soon. So we've covered everything here. Let's move on to the specializations. I'm taking blood magic, soul reaping, and death magic. So the first one, blood magic, this is where the bulk of your build is coming from. And then soul reaping is more of just like an added bonus. And then death magic also has a big role in this build. So blood magic, first one we're taking is Ritual of Life. I'm taking Ritual of Life for more of a support type of deal. Like if someone's down, you can revive them faster, and then you will also summon a well of blood. Now the well will play into this as well, but I will play into Vampiric Rituals, but I will get into that soon. So for this, added survival in a sense. Survival if you are reviving someone, you won't die, and it gets your teammates up faster so you can win fights. Vampiric, this is important. This is a passive, a minor trait. I like to just call them passives, but it's a minor trait. Vampiric, whenever you hit a foe, you will siphon life. Very, very self-explanatory, but it also works with minions. And if you take a quick glance at my utility bar, whoop, there's some minions. But I will, again, discuss this when we get to it. So it's very self-explanatory. For the next selection, I chose to take Vampiric Presence. I was also debating Life from Death. I will have to play around with this. This does provide a bigger burst heal, but Vampiric Presence ties in with a vampiric theme and also deals a little bit more damage while also siphoning that little bit of life. Now, it's not a huge amount, but that little bit can really be a game changer and can really help you survive. There's been a couple scenarios where I've been really thankful that I've had this. And then finally, Vampiric Rituals. Wells siphon health every time they pulse and grant protection to allies when cast, and it also reduces the recharge. So this is really fun. to play with, especially at ranged. Now, it's always a bit disheartening if people run out of your wells, but, you do have to be careful with your placement. So you'll be getting a little bit more life siphoning, a little more healing, but also a little bit more damage. But the protection is really, really nice, and so is the reduced recharge. Very self-explanatory, and I think this ties very well with Ritual of Life. That's one reason why I decided to take Ritual of Life instead of these other two. But in terms of PvP, I think this is really fun to take. Next, Soul Reaping. Soul marks. Your marks will grant life force and are unblockable. Like one of the most easiest descriptions to read. Next, Vital Persistence. Life force will drain slower, but your Shroud skills will also recharge faster. So you can spend more time in Death Shroud and also do more stuff. Now, Death Shroud is atypical for the Necromancer as a universal thing, more of a survival tactic. In certain situations, it is often survival, but also can pump out really, really, really good damage. This just makes it easier to stay alive if needed. And then next, Death Perception. Increase critical hit chance while in Shroud. This is just for extra damage. I'm not taking Doomfire because I'm not a Condi build. The burning is nice, but you don't have that maximum amount of burning, so I would rather take Death Perception. Foot in the Grave, gains stability and break stuns, is also a really big contender, but I decided to take Death Perception in the end. And finally, for Death Magic, we have Flesh of the Master. Minions have increased health, and they gain bonus toughness, or you gain bonus toughness, for each minion you control. So this means you're going to be a bit more of a bulwark. You're not going to die as fast, hopefully. Very self-explanatory. Once again, a lot of these traits are increased health and more toughness, or increased health for the minion. And then Deadly Strength. This is the trait I was talking about when I discussed the Amulet. This trait reads, gain power based on your toughness. Power gains doubles while in Shroud. So, depending on the amount of toughness you have, you will gain 7% more power in your normal state, but 14% more power in your Shroud state. Another reason why you want to stay in Shroud longer and do more stuff. And then the critical hit chance is also really good. So this build is good at surviving, healing up a little bit when needed, and also providing a little, not a little, but a decent amount of damage. I've had quite a bit of success with this against certain professions. Other professions, not so much. You will have to seriously focus on surviving rather than just cleaving them down. Finally, Unholy Sanctuary. This I think is a bit more of an icing on a cake type thing. You regenerate health while in Shroud. So it's not saying that your life force will regenerate, but when you're in Shroud, your actual base health shall regenerate. And when I've been in a couple fights, when I'm on 10% health, I'll go to Shroud and, life siphon, keep the Shroud up. But while I'm also doing that, I'm gaining some more health from my actual character, not from the Shroud. And also, your Shroud skills, your Shroud will activate if you have at least 10% life force when you're about to die. So it's more of just if you play Tempest, it's kind of like a rebound, but in a weird sense where you're actually just, you're going into Shroud instead of dying immediately, though your Shroud will end. It's not permanent, so just be careful of that and be aware of that. Okay, now we've covered specializations and then everything over here, so let's move on to our weapons and utility. Staff, very basic, long-ranged attack. So for this build, I've been trying to stay a little bit more ranged, just because I'm trying to get a feel for this build and trying to get really comfortable with this build. So I would suggest that to anybody else trying this out for the first time. Try to stay at range a bit. Let your minions do some of the work as well. But if you do find yourself in a situation where you need to get up in someone's face or you need to do more damage and just burst them down really quickly, Dagger Warhorn is great. Dagger especially. Dagger is a huge damage increase. But also, the Locust Swarm is really fun to use, especially with the vampiric stuff going on. It hits so many targets so fast that you're just going to be like siphoning life left and right. And also Dagger 2, Life Siphon. Its name is Life Siphon. It does quite a bit of healing as well. Moving on to our utilities, summon Blood Fiend. It's a Blood Fiend that will attack enemies and do a base flat amount of healing, but also an added bonus of the Life Siphon healing. So you're just getting a little bit more. And in PvP, each number counts. Next, we have the Bone Minions. These are really fun to use. They're little creatures that don't have a lot of health, but one of the main uses, and one of the main uses that I've kind of neglected over the years, is its activation skill, Putrid Explosion. It does a huge amount of burst damage. And especially when you're trying to finish off, say, a thief or an elementalist, and they just got like that 5% left. Detonate one, they should be dead. If they're not dead, detonate another, and then they should be downed. And it's really fun to use. I've only recently began understanding its importance. I used to just let them run around, and letting them run around is good because you get a little bit more of that life siphon. Next, we have Well of Suffering. This is the big daddy. It hits for quite a decent amount. It hits like a truck, actually. Plus, the added damage from Life Siphon is also fun. And the added healing. And the protection. There's a lot of stuff going on with the wells. But also applies vulnerability to everybody inside. And yeah, a lot of damage fast. And on a relatively short cooldown, 28 seconds. Long, but, not as long as it could be, or as it should be, honestly. And finally, for our wells, Well of Corruption. And this, honestly, I really did not use this at all beforehand, before I really took the time to understand it. It pulses in an area, converting boons on your foes into conditions. Now, I know we're not a condition build, but it's more of that. I'm taking this more for the added utility of ripping the boons off of people and converting them to conditions. I'm not worried about, if they have regen, I want to convert that to something else. It's more of something like, they have protection, or they have might, or they have quickness, or they have alacrity isn't a boon, or they have like resistance. So I'm taking this for the boon strip, not necessarily for the conditions. But if we were a condition build, the conditions are just an added bonus. They're really fun, and they will probably tick up quite a bit. And for our elite skill, I'm taking Summon Flesh Golem. Very, very basic, very easy to use. You summon it, let it do its job. Its charge attack is actually really, really fun to use in certain situations. If you see that someone is trying to run to a point, you can maybe charge them, and if the golem cleaves them, they're going to get knocked down, and then maybe you can chain this with, say, like Dark Pact and immobilize them, and then maybe do Wail of Doom. Lately in PvP, just a side note, lately in PvP, there's been a lot of CCing going on, and I hate it, so I know that if I do it to someone else, they're going to hate it too. So it's kind of been my goal in PvP as of late. But yeah, that is pretty much the build. Oh, and then Death Shroud. People should know what Death Shroud is, but just in case you don't, this, if you had noticed, we're not taking Reaper. Now, if somebody says or comments down below that Reaper would be better, I would love to hear that. But for Death Shroud, Life Blast, long range attack, it now no longer does more damage if you're close by. It's just equal across the board. Dark Path, you teleport to your target, chilling them. Doom, you fear them. Life Transfer, this is fun. Whenever there's a lot of people around, use this, you're going to gain a lot of life force. And then Tainted Shackles, you put Torment on them, and then you mobilize them when it ends. Okay. I didn't want to let that run out, so I kind of started talking quickly. So, hopefully everyone understood the build. If you have any questions, comment down below. But I shall be moving on to the gameplay portion of this video as of right now. So, see you there. Hello everyone, and welcome to this portion of the gameplay video. I'm not going to be discussing anything throughout this video, just for the fact that I know some people like gameplay where there's no talking, so I shall abide to those people that enjoy that. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and thank you so much for watching, and subscribe for more content, like the video if you liked it, and comment down below, and I shall see you in the next video.
seize the altar! You've got the temple!
Swiftly. Another wonderful.
The temple now! Stillness has appeared. You've got the temple!
A corpse.
Your enemy has the gate.
A corpse.
Your enemy seized the altar. Control the gate!
Healthy and pain. I am dead.
Tranquility has appeared.
Armored up.
You've captured the altar! You've got the temple!
I've got the target. Armored up. Too vulnerable like they never waste a I am dead. Armored up.
Your enemy sees
It
the
was only
altar!
father. Armored up.
Your enemy has the gate! You've got the temple!
On the mend. Swiftly.
Your enemy has the temple now!
Armored up.
You control the gate!
Barely.
Stillness has appeared!
Need healing. Armored up. Need help here. I'm good to go. Swiftly. Ah, fresh fodder.
You captured the altar!
It served well. I could use a hand over here. Armored up.
You control the gate! Your enemy sees the altar! You have all 3 points. Hold them at all costs.
Look, life after death.
Your enemy